The next day, Sunday, was a blur of terror. I had a plan. A desperate, suicidal plan. Late that afternoon, Lombard summoned me to his private chambers, a circular room at the top of a hidden staircase. A library filled with ancient, leather-bound books. "It is time, friend," he said, his back to me. "Remove your clothes. The first step is to shed your old skin." As I unlaced my boots, my hand closed around the pencil I'd hidden in my sock. My heart was a drum solo in my chest. This was it. I lunged, driving the pencil with all my might into the back of his knee. He roared, a sound of pure animal fury, and stumbled. I grabbed a heavy typewriter from his desk and brought it crashing down on his head. The goat head split open with a sickening crack of bone and wet tearing. He collapsed. But as I turned to flee, I heard a low, gurgling laughter. He was getting up. The broken mask of his face hung in tatters, revealing not a man, but something worse. A swirling mass of shadow and teeth, with those same malevolent green eyes burning within. "You have your great-grandfather's spirit," the thing hissed. "But it will not save you." It lunged. On pure instinct, I threw up my hand. My palm made contact with its arm. The effect was instantaneous. His flesh sizzled and dissolved like sugar in water. A wave of agony shot up my own arm, as if I'd grabbed a live power line, but I held on. He shrieked, a sound that shattered the windows, and his entire arm decomposed into a foul-smelling black sludge, dripping to the floor. I didn't wait for more. I ran. I ran down the stairs, out of the house, past the great hall where I could hear the screams of the cult as they sensed their master's pain. My only thought was the concrete building. The butcher shop. I burst through the unlocked door. Inside, a short, stubby man was at a workbench, meticulously butchering a human corpse. He looked up, stunned. Before he could shout, I was on him. We struggled, and I managed to knock him unconscious with a heavy wooden lid from one of the vats. My eyes darted around the room. It was a larder. Human bodies hung from meat hooks. Vats were filled with blood and viscera. This was their food supply. A second iron door stood at the back of the room. I threw it open. It revealed a dark, earthen tunnel. I could hear the cult shouting, their torches getting closer. I plunged into the darkness. The tunnel was long and suffocating. It smelled of damp earth and rot. It finally opened into a small cave on the shore of a pond. Near the entrance were plastic tubs filled with the belongings of victims. Wallets, shoes, backpacks, and a pile of bicycles. I grabbed the newest looking one and rode like I had the hounds of hell on my heels, which I suppose I did. I didn't stop until I hit the highway, a ghost covered in mud and blood under the indifferent stars. I made it back to town. I saw Elizabeth rushing out of my house to greet me, her face a mask of concern. But when I looked into her eyes, I saw it. The same hollowness I'd seen in the cultists. Lombard's final, parting shot echoed in my mind. She was such a naive girl, so easy to twist. They had gotten to her first. She was the bait. I didn't say a word. I got in my car, packed what I could, and drove. I never saw her, or that town, again. Robert Elm fell silent. He drained the last of his whiskey, his hand no longer shaking. The glass made a soft click as he set it on the bar. "For 50 years, he whispered, his voice raw with exhaustion, I've been running. Town to town, city to city. But they always find me. Their influence is everywhere. This place, this bar, is the longest I've ever stayed anywhere. 12 years of peace." I stared at him, my mind reeling. "And the whiskey?" I finally managed to ask. "You said there was a reason." He let out that same, dry chuckle. "My bloodline is a poison to them. But so is alcohol. It pollutes the flesh. My liver is probably more whiskey than man at this point. When they finally catch me, when they perform their ritual and take a celebratory bite, I want them to choke on it. A grim smile touched my lips. The old man stood up, stretching his weary bones. The sun's coming up. Time for me to go. Be safe, Robert, I said, my voice thick. He looked at me, his gray eyes filled with a profound, final sadness. There is no safe, kid. Not anymore. He walked to the door and disappeared into the pre-dawn gloom. I stood there for a long time, the weight of his story settling on me like a shroud. Then, I began to clean up, my hands on autopilot. As I collected his empty glass, I noticed something on the counter he'd left behind, tucked under the crumpled bills. It was an old, pewter pin. Shaped like a perfect, black circle. A chill, colder than any winter storm, crept up my spine. I looked at the name of the bar, etched on the mirror behind me. The spade. Not a tool for digging, but the ace of spades. The death card. This wasn't a haven. It was the end of the line. The backroom door, the one marked private, creaked open. A shadow fell across the floor, impossibly tall. A familiar, dry, monotone voice echoed in the silent bar. Did he enjoy his final drink? I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I could only stare as my boss, the owner, stepped out of the shadows. His face was kind, his smile was warm, but his eyes were a pale, terrifying green. Don't worry, Jake, he said, his smile never wavering as he picked up the pin. The owner has a special table for our guest. He's been waiting a long time.